flesh would melt, thaw and resolve itself into a dew. God, if only you said it ain't true that suicide's a sin. Since I realized how still life's been, never profitable. The world's an unweeded garden, laden with seeds and gross rank that stank. Why did it come to this? Only 2 months in, and my mother gives herself to Asada, forgetting my father, so loving to her, that he keep the winds from smothering her. Must I remember, I'm encumbered by my memory of her, her disloyalty, frailty. Thy name is woman. It was only last month when she followed my poor father's body like Niobe. Aw, tears, full of fears, but now, oh God, a beast without reason would have mourned longer, being sworn to my father. It's a sin to marry my father's brother. Within a month, she with most wicked speed to post to her incestuous sheets. I loathe but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome. Though I join hands so often with students and others behind jail bars singing it, we shall overcome. Sometimes we've had tears in our eyes when we joined together to sing it, but we still decided to sing it. We shall overcome. No, before this victory's won, some will have to get thrown in jail some more, but we shall overcome. Don't worry about us. Before the victory's won, some of us will lose jobs, but we shall overcome. Oh, the victory's won, even some will have to face physical death. Physical death is the price that some must pay. To free their children from a permanent psychological death, then nothing shall be more redemptive. We shall overcome. Before the victory's won, some will be misunderstood and called bad names and dismissed as rabble-rousers and agitators. But we shall overcome. And I'll tell you why. We shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. We shall overcome because Carlyle is right. No lie can live forever. We shall overcome because William Cullen Bryant is right. will rise again. We shall overcome because James Russell Lowell is right. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yet that scaffold sways the future. Behind the dim unknown standeth God within the shadows, keeping watch above his own. We shall overcome because the Bible is right. You shall reap what you sow. We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome. With this faith, we will go out and ascend.
I eat words. I eat words, delicious words. I gobble the words that you make. Words like Rod taste like turds, but Billow tastes like cake. I stuff my face with afterwards and wash it down with hush. Dessert must wait till afterwards like hunch or flack or crush. And my dessert won't be dessert. That word is tough to chew. I'll have a word that's sweet and curt, like pony, nip, or blue. Suits. The influx of suited men on the airport's moving walkway transformed it into a conveyor belt. Cup of Joe. There's nothing like a cup of joe when the morning's gray and grim and slow, when the streets collide with the world outside, when litter lies where lilies grow. Just drink that smoking cup of black and feel your feelings surging back, plus spill a drop in a coffee shop will sprout up from a sidewalk crack. Incomparable. You're incomparable. Like a... Shit. Like, different. Although there's many different brains with different stories, different names, different isn't safe like same, so same makes most take safer aim. Who needs those same old fakes? Today that same old lame mold breaks. I'm me, meet me and see what a difference makes. Sully. Sully suffers from a stutter. Simple syllables will clutter, stalling speeches up on beaches like a sunken sailboat rudder. Sully strains to say his phrases, sickened by the sounds he raises. Strings of thoughts come out in knots. He solves his sentences like mazes. At night, he writes his thoughts instead, and sighs as they steadily rush from his head. She waits. She waits. How beautifully she waits. How impossibly lovely she is with a thing so passive. With what weight she waits, making her boss or her boyfriend, or whatever she waits for, seem like a first brunch with Christ. She waits regally, in perfect contrast to the drooling buffoon describing her. The Squares. The Squares lived happily, in their square houses, in their square yards, in their square town. One day, a family of circles moved in from the west. "Get out of here, roundies!" shouted one of the squares. "Why?" asked one of the circles. "Because this is a metaphor for racism." Perfect. I love you just the way you are, but you don't see you like I do. You shouldn't try so hard to be perfect. Trust me, perfect should try to be you.
I ask them to take a poem and hold it up to the light like a color slide, or press an ear against its hive. I say, drop a mouse into a poem and watch him probe his way out, or walk inside the poem's room and feel the walls for a light switch. I want them to water ski across the surface of a poem, waving at the author's name on the shore. But all they want to do is tie the poem to a chair with a rope and torture a confession out of it. They begin beating it with a hose to find out what it really means.
Life is Fine by Langston Hughes. I went down to the river. I sat down on the bank. I tried to think, but couldn't. So I jumped in and sank. I came up once and hollered. I came up twice and cried. If that water hadn't have been so cold, I might have sunk and died. But it was cold in that water. It was cold. I took the elevator, 16 floors above the ground. I thought about my baby, and thought I would jump down. I stood there and I hollered. I stood there and I cried. If it hadn't have been so high, I might have jumped and died, but it was high up there. It was high. So since I'm still here living, I guess I will live on. I could have died for love. But for living I was born. Though you may hear me holler, and you may see me cry, I'll be dog, sweet baby, if you're gonna see me die. Life is fine, fine as wine.
Thank you.